This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We are here at the Connecting Live Hull. We've just witnessed an epic 12-round European title fight in the light heavyweight division, Adam. It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Great fight, absolutely brilliant from start to finish. The two of them covered themselves in glory, a European belt. First time that two Brits had fought for that coveted title since, I think, 1999 with Clinton Woods and Crawford Ashley. And they both wanted it so much. There was quality in there. It seesawed. I thought Brad Ray was fantastic early. Shakan Bitters came back at him. Then Brad found a second wind. And they dug so deep. I mean, to go almost around without a gum shield, blood pouring out of his nose, it was a sort of, he wouldn't be denied tonight, Brad Ray. It was razor tight. Both Dave and I thought Brad just about deserved it. And we thought the cards were sort of spot on. I mean, I felt for Shakan Bitters, maybe a draw, but it could have gone either way. Brad said that afterwards. And yeah, I mean, look, it's an amazing night for him. He's had a tough last couple of years. And you know, I'm delighted. He's rededicated himself. He's made a move. He's sacrificed a lot. He's looked happy all week. I had a funny feeling that he just was fresh and that he liked to fight at this weight now above. They're sort of draining his body down to middleweight. I wondered if light heavy was a bit too much, whether it should be super middle, and if those later rounds, Shakan's natural size and experience might catch up with him. But I think Brad just dragged Shakan into his sort of fight tonight. I mean, Shakan was brilliant at times. The body shots, the uppercuts, you know, they went toe-to-toe. I don't know the volume of punches that were thrown, but I mean, Kev Parker almost had to do nothing, did he, apart from find that gum shield from the canvas. It was beautiful brutality, and the respect for the pair had at the end. It was just an advert for boxing and a credit to the pair of them. I thought it was GBM's best fight they've ever put on at 9:30, live on DAZN. A winner.
Shawn Mcome and Grado Krauss, two fighters at two very different stages of their career, but two fighters that impressed tenfold tonight.
Yeah, it was a really good night for GBM because I thought Shawn Mcome coming back after 14 months of inactivity. I've always liked him. I like Pete Taylor. I think he's an excellent coach. I thought that he was robbed against Arnold Barboza Jr. and I've seen how difficult it's been for Shawn, not getting fights, being left in the cold. I was absolutely delighted that Izzy signed him. I told Izzy he's the best fighter that GBM have signed. I love Kieran Malloy. I love other fighters, Ed Hardy, I love Tyson Gallagher. There's loads of good fighters.
Shawn's proven though, isn't he?
Shaq Thompson, great fighters that GBM have been involved in, but he's proven Shawn, and I think Shawn will absolutely stand his own in the super lightweight division. I'd love to see him against Jack Rafferty. I said on air that I would message George Warren tomorrow and say, let's make that fight. I think the styles are perfect for each other. Or Pierce O'Leary, I know that fight was very close. I don't think they're going to go running for Shawn Mcome. I think it's going to be a tough job for Izzy now. But if you can get him into that position, great fights in the super lightweight division. Dalton Smith obviously waiting for a world title fight. Adam Azim. It's a brilliant time to be a 10-stone man. And Shawn Mcome's back, and I'm delighted for him. Gradis Krauss, I mean, who knows where he can go. 7-0, 7 stunning, thrilling knockouts. I mean, he looks unbelievable. I mean, I think he's the most handsome person I've ever seen in boxing. Plus, he's got this 3-year-old daughter who the moves they've got on the ring walks are just, I mean, they're just electric, aren't they? It's endearing, father and daughter, and then he gets in and he's incredible in the ring. He's fast, he's hard hitting, he's awkward, he twitches. He's going to be a difficult night's work for a lot of people. I thought that Ross McGuigan was hurt early. He never really got into it. So look, you can get very, very excited, but it's still just 7-0 at 23. But they're talking about fighting the likes of Dan Aziz and Craig Richards and Lyndon Arthur, even looking at the winner or loser of Brad Ray and Shakan Bitters tonight. So they might fast track him. Who knows? I'd love to go to Holland. I think GBM Holland, light it up with orange. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, he's a real potential talent.
Adam, two things I want to ask you about before I let you go. First of those being Deontay Wilder's return to winning ways last night. He got the stoppage in the 7th round. What did you make of his performance?
We just actually messaged each other. Deontay and I are pretty close, and he was very supportive to me through my recovery from cancer. And so I always keep an eye on what he's up to personally as well as professionally. I know Shelley Finkel well, and look, I just want to see Deontay Wilder safe and sound, and he's obviously he wants to fight on. He fought last night. We'd love to see him fight AJ. There's big fights out there for him. If he's got that sort of fourth, fifth wind, or wherever we are with him, he's still got that massive right hand. He's still a handful for anyone, and it's a magic time to be a heavyweight. But, let's be honest, Deontay and Tyson Fury, who's sort of retired, and that generation is coming to a Derek Chisora, all coming to a sort of Dillian White, all coming to a close. But Dillian's got a big fight against Moses Tama. Derek's got a big fight he wants. So there's plenty of people that Deontay can fight. But I just, I like keeping up with him. He's a fascinating character. I don't know if you know, but he's a scuba diver. He spends a lot of time in the ocean, and he's just an interesting fellow that I've sort of got to know over the years. I commentated with him on AJ and Klitschko, and we've always had a connection. So it was nice to hear from him before and after the fight, and just glad he came out safe and sound and he got the win.
Last thing, Adam, I know you spoke about this, but do you think Sky stays in boxing after everything that's come out with the contract potentially not being renewed with Ben and Boxer?
I do. I think Sky, we at Sky, I'm a DAZN man now, but 30 years of Sky, and that was my life. And from the mid-90s all the way through, Sky have been the stayers, the stalwart, the leaders of boxing in this country. And so many others have dabbled in it. The ITVs had a massive time, obviously, back in the day, but then ITV Digital and Setanta and TNT came in. Obviously, there's been others. Channel 5, BBC went. Sky have always been there. And now DAZN have come in and taken over and have become the home of boxing with Frank and Eddie and obviously GBM and everything else they've got. And it's brilliant to be part of that because there's so much action. We do need Sky in the sport. Sky are a huge Premiership football and the Formula One and the golf and everything that Sky have got. They've got to do boxing. I think Sky will continue doing some of the big fights, and maybe they'll pick and choose a bit, and I don't know who's going to be their promoter, whether they'll do some with Ben, some with others, what will happen to the likes of Ben Whitaker and Adam Azim and Caroline Dubois. But I think they've loved being on Sky. I think there've been some fantastic nights in the last 4 years, and Ben tells me there's a big announcement coming soon, so it's interesting to see what happens next. You never know in boxing.
Do you think it's going to be hard for Sky to compete with DAZN after DAZN's recent acquisition of Frank Warren? Always had Eddie. Is he now? Oscar De La Hoya, worldwide, isn't it?
I don't think Sky will look to compete in boxing. I think that once upon a time it was Sky were the home of boxing, no question. But I think over the years there have been other priorities at Sky. I think boxing's a difficult sport to manage. And I think there's been so much success building Sky Sports with the football, with the cricket, with the Formula One, with the darts has been unbelievable. So much. So I think boxing plays its part, but I don't think it's probably as central to Sky as it was a few years ago. And obviously DAZN have got a huge amount of fighters, but things change. Turkey Al Sheikh's come in and changed the sport in the last couple of years. Netflix have come in. Everything's changing almost every week. Sky will stay in boxing, and we need them to. It'll be it's important, and we also need competition. I think it's healthy. So we want Sky to stay. But I'm very happy to be on DAZN and covering amazing fights week in, week out, with two promoters that have been the best promoters in British boxing in the last 20, 30 years in Frank and Eddie, and it's great that they've joined forces and are on DAZN. There's competition, there's inter-house matches, it's all of that, and I think that's fantastic. So it'll be fascinating to see where Ben goes next. It'll be it'll be very interesting to see whether the Sowlands have they put their hat in the ring as well. They're Channel 5. Who knows what's going to happen, but I'm sure Sky have got a plan, and I'm sure Sky will stay in boxing, and there'll be big fight nights ahead. There has to be. Sky have just always been in it, and I just don't see them going anywhere. But they won't compete with DAZN. It's a different market, and in many ways it's a more casual market. So if you're a hardcore fight fan, if you're a big fight fan, you have to have DAZN week in, week out, delivering massive fights. Next week it's Eubank and Cattrall. The week after we're in New York for Hamza Shiraz and Shakur Stevenson, and Izzy's coming now. So I'm going.
When we brought you back after your illness, I always knew you'd be a big part of our success. I knew it. You know, I said to people, and since you come back with us, our kind of level of boxing and the whole kind of outfit's changed, so we appreciate everything you do.
Well, thank you very much for getting me to commentate on that show.
Yeah.
What was it, 15, 16 months ago?
And we are the best duo in British boxing.
You are.
We are the best duo in British boxing. Remember that?
I think we have the most fun.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Del Boy and Rodney of British boxing. Adam, thank you very much. I think that rounds us off very nicely. Thank you.